Greetings, everyone. Hope all of you are having an absolutely fantastic day. For the past week or so, I have been live streaming Neverwinter Nights 2 Enhanced Edition, and honestly, I've been having an absolute blast. I did not plan to do a full playthrough of this game. I looked at those graphics and thought, man, I am not going to enjoy this. But people in my community kept pinging me and kept asking me, hey, are you going to play this? So I was like, you know what? I'll give it a whirl for a stream or two, and then we'll move on to something else. But I'll be darned if it didn't turn out. I really like this adventure. Can't wait to finish it, and I'm absolutely going to play the expansion Mask of Betrayer once we are finished. I think this provides a really unique experience, and it's been a joy experiencing it with so many people who had already played through the game and have such nostalgia seeing it for the second time. I am planning to do a couple of pieces of content on this game outside of a full review once I finish it. There are some systems that are used here that I feel like we just don't see enough of in games these days. And so I kind of want to talk about that, compare it to some of the games that we have now, and basically discuss with the community what are some ways we'd like to see these systems improved and fleshed out for future titles. I think that'll be a very interesting discussion, so definitely be on the lookout for that content. In this video, I'm not providing a full review because I have not finished the game yet. I'm about 20 hours into the experience, I believe, but I'm still in Act 1. But I am far enough to have made some decisions in regards to some of the things I like and dislike regarding the game, so we're just going to talk through that. Of course, once I'm finished the full game, I will go ahead and provide you with a review. With all that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I really like about this game is character creation, and it's just yet another reminder that for me, mechanics matter a lot more than just about everything else when it comes to character creation, and specifically the races that I choose. I really miss having anywhere from 8 to 10 options as far as what race you can be, and then each one of them all having different pluses and minuses and things to consider when you're trying to figure out what race you are going to choose. I think that is super cool. It was missing in Baldur's Gate 3, and frankly, I can't really think of a fantasy game that I played recently where it was brand new that had a similar system, and I hope we get back to that very soon. Neverwinter Nights 2 has an amazing character creation system, massive list of classes, massive list of different races that you could be as well, along with backgrounds and just a plethora of different options so you can get the exact character that you want. We live streamed it for 2 hours before I could finally settle on a character, and even then I ended up going back the next day and re-rolling that character to finally officially get the one that I wanted. It's just so many options. It's really hard for a player like me to nail down what I wanted. I love a game that kind of throws the kitchen sink at you and says, hey, here's all the tools in your toolkit, go bananas with it and do what you want. I think that's absolutely amazing, and it's reinforced by the fact that the mechanics in this game are really cool. Of course, it's based on D&D 3.5, which for many people still remains their favorite version of D&D mechanics for very good reasons. So putting together all the different builds for not only yourself but your party members, and figuring out what are the best spells and mechanics to use, going through fights, and what skills do you need while you're exploring environments, all of that is a blast, and I'm really enjoying the process. I settled on a ranger who has a dash of fighter, a dash of barbarian, and is using frenzy barbarian because I am all about cleave. When I kill one enemy, I want to just go on a rampage and start trying to kill every single enemy that's around me. that has been working very, very well. I'm super happy with the 2-weapon fighting build that I'm using so far, and hopefully it continues to be dominant when I get into Mask of the Betrayer. Of course, great character creation and great mechanics don't mean nearly as much if the itemization in the game is whack. And luckily, that's another area where Neverwinter Nights 2 does really, really well. There is a ton of weapons, armor, accessories, potions, just all sorts of different things that you can place in your character. There's also a full crafting system for weapons, armor, and enchantments to even give you more options as far as what type of gear you want to have in your character. I haven't really delved into crafting at all because people in the chat keep telling me it's not nearly powerful enough in the base game. You really want to get to Mask of the Betrayer to start messing around with it, but just the fact that it's there and available if I want to use it, still super, super cool. And just in general, it feels like this game provides you with the gear that you need in order to rock with whatever build that you want to, and I really, really appreciate that. A bit earlier I mentioned party members, and that's an area where this game truly shines. This game has party members who all are sarcastic. All of them in some way, shape, form, or fashion come off like assholes, but they're really, really entertaining to listen to. And there's a bite to their commentary that I feel like you just don't see in current games. We're definitely going to talk about that more in a separate video, but I've already, of course, recruited Kelgar Iron Fist. Amazing character, hilarious, so much fun having him around. I'm also a big fan of Nishka. I love the way that she's kind of just always out for herself and always looking for how to get a leg up on a situation. I think it's super cool to watch how her mind works. I only just recently recruited Cassavir onto the team, and so I haven't learned that much about his personality, but from a mechanic standpoint, this dude is an absolute unit and just doesn't go down no matter what the situation. And having and seeing him with a freaking shield and warhammer is really, really cool. He gets to swinging that hammer around. I really want to see if I can give him a lightning buff and get some Thor magic going on, because I'm really, really like him. Hopefully his personality turns out to be cool as well as we advance through the game. But all the way around, I'm very happy with the party members I've been introduced to thus far. One other thing I'll say I really like about this game is the world building. Constantly when you meet characters, they'll talk about, hey, I just came from the Sword Coast, or hey, I just came from Waterdeep, these faraway places, and it just really feels like you're in a very, very tiny part of the overall world, and there are so many other different areas that you may not even be able to explore in the game that have their own locales, their own culture, their own situations. And it's just really, really awesome how much this game helps to flesh all that out. And it's really cool, as someone who has, of course, played other D&D games, you get to hear them mention all of these places that you either get to go to or you learn more about in other D&D games. So all of that has been really awesome. Of course, there are definitely some things about this game that I don't like and I haven't enjoyed in regards to the experience thus far. First and foremost, to be clear, I never played the original game. But even so, playing this version of the game, it definitely doesn't feel enhanced. It doesn't feel like, all right, this game came out in the 90s, but now a bunch of things have been done to shape it up and make it much more palatable for people who are looking for a more modern day title. It feels like a game that came out 20 years ago, right? And people have definitely been coming into my chat saying they're very disappointed with the amount of effort that was put into updating this game, addressing some of the bugs, things of that nature. And even without playing the original, I definitely echo those thoughts. There have been a few crashes since I've started playing, which is obviously disappointing. There's also a lot of clear signs of cut content that Obsidian never got a chance to do. And to me, it's very odd that you have this enhanced edition version of the game, and yet they weren't able to address some of this cut content that would have clearly helped to flesh out the experience. So there's just a lot of different ways in which I look at what we have, and it doesn't feel like an enhanced edition version of the game. And then even outside of that, if you just look at the game for what it is, it feels very janky. It's a janky experience overall. It doesn't feel completely polished. There have been so many times where my character, things would happen like I couldn't continue walking forward, like there was an invisible wall for no reason, and then a party member would be able to walk right by me. You know, I've already mentioned the crashes, of course. It's just a bunch of little small bugs and issues that pop up that give an unpolished feel to the overall experience. The AI is absolutely horrid. And that's especially frustrating because, to be honest, playing this game reminds me a lot of Dragon Age Origins, which had some of the best AI I've ever experienced in a game. And so to play a game that from an aesthetics and really a system standpoint feels so similar to Origins, but from an AI standpoint is so clearly inferior, it's kind of odd, honestly. It's kind of weird, but party members will do crazy things. They'll get stuck in areas. They will stop walking for no reason. Like, it's just a lot of goofy stuff that happens where you're fumbling around trying to figure out how the heck do I get these party members to act the way that they are supposed to. And even if the AI was a little better, I would say that this game just doesn't feel tactical at all. Again, I compare it to Origins. I feel like that's the closest game to it that I've played. And Origins felt like a very, very tactical experience where you had to assess who was on the battlefield and then figure out how to approach them. With this game, I just give all the buffs I can to my main party member and then just send him out front and let him go to town. And of course, it would probably be more difficult if I raise the difficulty, but I just don't feel like it would make things more tactical, to be honest with you. It just doesn't feel like a tactical experience. Of course, that might change once we get to Mask of the Betrayer. We'll see. And then the final thing that I'll mention I don't like so far about this game is the villains feel poorly developed. So we get a bunch of little scenes where the villains are giving commands or providing maybe a little bit of an explanation about what it is that they want, but it doesn't feel like any of them are really being developed as characters. It feels like we're just getting a short scene before I end up running into these people and have to kill them. And so it would have been nice to have a more central villain who was a central focus, and then get more character development on this particular person about what they're trying to do, why they're trying to do it, things of that nature. I don't feel like I'm getting any of that right now, and it's definitely disappointing. But despite all that, once again, I'm having a great time with the game. Really enjoying this experience. Thank you so much to all the people in my community who were asking over and over again whether or not I would play this game, because I've definitely taken the opportunity to play this game and I'm having a much better time than what I thought I would. So again, absolutely plan to finish this playthrough and then we'll move on to Mask of the Betrayer. Those are my thoughts thus far after almost 20 hours with the main game. Once again, I will do a review once I have finished the full game, so be on the lookout for that content. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and share this content with anybody else who might be interested in more stuff regarding Neverwinter Nights 2 or just CRPGs in general, because of course you all already know more CRPG content is coming. Anyway, that's the video. Hope all of you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.